All right, cool. We're back recording.
We are live. Well, first off, congratulations on finishing your first of many, hopefully half marathons to come. So that's awesome. That's always a great accomplishment.
Appreciate it. It was a really cool experience there. It's crazy how much running with other people and like a little crowd does for your pace during your run. Like by far my fastest pace I had in all of my training leading up to it there.
Oh yeah, did you run hot for sure? Just the excitement, the adrenaline, the pace of other people. You almost kind of forget how fast you are running. So, but it sounds like you had a very strong finish, and that's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the next one that I'm gonna do. We got our family, we do a 5K together every year in upstate New York there. It's just like the local town just does like a charity 5K each year.
Yeah.
So I've run in that every year. So I think this year I'm actually going to go for like a legit time and really try and get a time and then map out a couple other halves.
Yeah, no, that's always fun. It's always fun to have something on the calendar to challenge yourself because I don't know, man. As it relates to work, I think that I don't know. You get some hard stuff done early in the day, or you're exercising. Work becomes a lot easier. It's not as stressful. There is some awesome truth to that. That's helped me
No
out
doubt
over the
about it.
years.
No
Like
doubt.
I couldn't imagine not exercising and doing hard stuff that's outside of work. And then when you have maybe a difficult client call or a difficult scenario, it's really nothing. Kind of helps put things in perspective, I guess.
Couldn't agree more. And just like especially too when you get into running and you get past maybe like the first couple weeks, because if you don't consistently run and then you start, it obviously kind of sucks a little bit and it's hard. And once you get past, I don't know what the point is, maybe like 3, 4, 5 weeks. But once you get past that point and you really feel like you're getting in shape and you could crank out like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 miles, dude, the feeling you get after doing some of like those longer runs when you're in shape is like the craziest thing. Like
Yeah.
you feel so good afterwards.
Yeah. And I would say if someone is getting into running, it's like, don't think of it as running. Think it as like jogging or moving at a faster pace than a
No
walk.
doubt.
So you're not running. Like, sure, high performance athletes that are trying to get crazy times, they are physically running, a 6 mile a minute pace. That's running. But for the
Yeah,
casual person, just go faster than a walk and just go for distance. And you
no
will
doubt.
have such a good time with it. Like today, I ran a little over 7 miles, and it's been a couple of weeks because I was rehabbing my knee a little bit. And dude, felt fantastic coming home, like and getting done. Wasn't going super fast, like I was like at 11 and a half mile, nothing fast at all. But hey, it's 7 miles. It's going to burn the same calories if I did it in less time, you know. But that just that runner's. I don't know. I've never had like the runner's high. I get the high like after I run. I've never had it like mid run where all of a sudden you're like, yeah. No, no, thank you. I haven't had that.
It's interesting you say that because I always was under the impression runner's high was like a post run thing. Because I'm
I've
right
heard
there
it mid run. I've heard
mid
it mid
run.
run too. Yeah.
Maybe I have.
It's like you
I don't
break
know.
the wall, they say, and you go through and you just can run forever. Nope, not my case.
See,
I hit
I've
that
definitely
wall
been
plenty of
there.
times and fallen down. um,
That's funny. It is
dude, so
really
what?
cool just to have something to work towards, though. I will say, I feel like a little felt like so. I ran it on Sunday. We're recording this on the April 4th here, Friday, and I ran once this week, and I'm gonna run later today, and then tomorrow. But it feels so weird, like not having a program in place and like not having something to work towards. I got a Garmin, like your standard. I think it's the Forerunner 45. I want to say
Okay,
like the most basic one. But you could download your Garmin app, and then you could type in like I did like the Love Run in Philadelphia. So like you could look it up, and then it's like, okay, based off of this date, this is how long you have, and then you could do like one practice run where I guess they're measuring like your heart rate, your HRV, your VO2 max, stuff like that, to then give you a workout plan. So like leading
really
up to it, I had like a
interesting.
15-week program. Yeah, it's so cool. And each workout you do, you'll do the workout, and then at the end it'll ask you like how good you felt. It's like a one. It's like I think it's 0 through 10 or 1 through 10 of like how good or how hard it was perceived effort. So like one would be like it was super easy all the way up to 10, which was like impossible. And then it also asks you how good you feel. So each workout
Hmm.
you do, you give it, hey, it felt like it was kind of hard or kind of easy, and I felt great or I felt really bad. And then it'll make adjustments to your program from there. So it had me running like 3 to 4 days a week. And then it would have one day was like a long, easy run, typically. One day was like a progression run where you would run for like 40 minutes easy and then 10 minutes at a hard pace. And then they had another run, which was like a stride repeat workout, where you'd run for like 15 minutes easy, and then you'd be doing like a 10-minute interval set of like 20-second sprint, 40-second jog, 20-second sprint, forty
It's
second jog.
fantastic technology, man.
It was the coolest thing. So each week, Sunday night, I would look up, and then it like gives you a calendar. So it'd be like, hey, on Tuesday, this is your progression workout. On Thursday, it's your stride repeat workout. On Saturday, it's your long run, and this is how long you're going to run for. And then it would adjust for you. So like I never had to think about the program leaning into it.
Dude, that's great. I had to do a lot of manual kind of stuff, but it was a very similar kind of setup. So that's great. That's awesome that Garmin's lead into that. And is the all the heart rate monitor stuff on your wrist, or do you actually have a strap?
I didn't get the strap yet. I want to get the strap because I've
Mhm.
heard that's
It's more
way
accurate, I've
more
heard.
accurate there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get one because, dude, I ditched my Apple Watch probably 6 months ago. Because I don't know, like I don't really like having notifications all the time on my wrist for like
I
text
wouldn't like
messages and
that
stuff like
either.
that. And that's the only
Yeah.
reason I was using it outside of like telling the time or whatnot. So I actually stopped, but I used it primarily for working out. Um, so yeah, all right, I'm gonna have to get a Garmin then. Okay, I'll
They're
follow up with
cheap
you
too.
afterwards.
I think they're
Okay,
like 150 bucks. They might even be like 200 bucks. Something like that. They're pretty cheap and like that. I don't even know how the app is free. It's crazy. And it keeps
interesting.
track of all of your workouts. So you could do a run and then it would give you, say you did like a 5 mile run, it would give you the pace for each one of your miles afterwards. It would give you your heart rate trends.
Yeah,
Like,
I've used Strava in the past for a lot of that stuff that syncs with Apple going over, and that's been cool in the past. I did like the paid version for a couple of years, but at this point, because I'm not really planning on for stuff, there's no point in doing it. But if Garmin's free, dude, that's fantastic.
yeah, I don't know how it's free, but I keep telling, or people keep telling me to get on Strava. I think I'm going to, just to check it
Okay.
out.
Well, let's get all the health tips out of the way because I got one more thing that I've recently done, and it feels like it's so on trend right now. Um,
Creatine.
so no, creatine I've been on. Um, my brother, when I was in Florida on vacation a couple weeks ago, he's like, dude, when you go to sleep, 'cause you're talking about snoring, etc. He's like, dude, here's some mouth tape. Try it.
Dude, I've been on mouth tape for like 5 years now.
Have you really?
Yeah, yep,
So I'm going into my second week, and it's funny. I don't use like the mouth tape brands that are out there. Like I have KT tape. I cut it in half. The strip side, totally fine. Works the same,
yep.
in my opinion. And you can correct me if I'm wrong because you've been doing a lot longer. So I've been doing it for 2 weeks. I started when I was on vacation. I was like, I was kind of actually sick on vacation, but it still felt pretty good. I was like, okay, didn't really notice it. So I got home. I'm still kind of recovering from whatever the lingering cold is. It wasn't a bad cold by any means. Um, but I could, like, when I have to do my normal routine and wake up, um, I just felt like a little bit different when I was at home in my routine because I know what my routine feels like when I wake up, you know?
Yeah,
I was like, okay, I feel a little bit easier to just get out of bed. Like, okay, I'm a little bit more alert. And then even like my initial, I'll sleep in one position and then maybe at night I'll switch up position. I find I'm in the same position when I wake up. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I'm not really moving as much. And if I do wake up a little bit in between, I don't feel as groggy or like I feel I can get back to sleep faster. I'm like, huh, interesting. And then I did my run this morning and I felt great. I felt great. So I'm like, huh, I truly do. I'm sold, dude. I am so sold.
I was just gonna ask you what the brand was or what you use. So you just do it's just a strip across your mouth.
Yeah, dude, I just like I take the KT tape, I cut it about the width of my mouth, and then I'll cut it in half, and that works good enough. It seals it good enough.
I
Tuck it under my
f-
mustache and shove it in there.
I forget what the one brand is. I think they do like the black strips and
The hostage. Yeah.
hostage. They made.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this a while ago. It's like one of those like things you think about of like building a business and like having, a product or something like that.
Hmm.
I actually bought a whole domain for it and had like a whole like brand around. I was literally going to start like a blog to then just create content on the benefits of nose breathing and try and get like a little bit of a
The affiliate
following,
deal.
and then just affiliate deal or just launch my own mouth tape.
Yeah,
Because, and I'll give credit to my now fiance, she mentioned this to me a while ago because sometimes I would like snore or like just make like random noises at night.
sure.
Um, Honestly, dude, it was mainly after like a night of drinking. Like if
Hmm.
went out and drank, I would usually snore, and I noticed other people did the same thing, and it's because you're not breathing through your nose when you're sleeping. And there's a host of benefits for nose breathing. Apparently, like your nose has like hairs and other like essentially like a filtration system for when air comes into your body where it filters, where like your mouth doesn't have that. So it's really healthy for you to breathe through your nose and be a nose breather. So she mentioned that, and then I forget how I came across the whole mouth tape thing, but I came across it probably like 4 or 5 years ago now. And throughout the day, I would actively like think about breathing through my nose, and then I think my uncle told me he did mouth tape because he was on that. He said he would do it during work days as well. I use the X ones. I have like the X mouth tape.
Interesting.
So it's like a pack of like 200 or something you get off Amazon for like $5. Like it's super cheap. And yeah, every single night, tape my mouth right before I go to bed. And like if I ever forget it or something like that, I will notice sometimes like I either didn't sleep as well or like you wake up with like a dry mouth.
Yeah.
Or the big thing is if you get, now that you're in this rhythm, if you get sick and your nose is clogged, you're going to be rattled falling asleep because you're like, fuck, like I'm not going to be able to do this through my nose tonight.
That's
But
fucking
it's like a
crazy.
total game changer.
Dude, I honestly like it kind of lined up.
The
My
other
brother
thing,
asked me, and I was like, dude, this is great. This is like, I was kind of skeptic at first because I've heard about it before
that's so
a couple of
cool.
years ago, but I was like, I don't know. I mean, I definitely realized its benefit. Like, I did running once. I did a whole series of running, which you actually should try this. Is do sessions of running with just mouth breathing, or sorry, with just nose breathing.
And just mouth or nose breathing. Yep.
Just nose breathe, dude. It's a challenge, but then you get to it, and then when you feel like you need a little like turbo boost, to be honest, you open your mouth, dude, and you're like, dude, you do the last like 2 miles of like a 10-mile run with this first eight all nose, and then you hit that, dude. You're like, I'm totally fine. This is so easy.
I've actually tried that before. The other thing too that I've heard is a huge, huge, huge benefit of it is if you consistently breathe through your nose and you become like an actual nose breather at night and during the day, like consistently, it actually changes the shape of your face. Like your jaw line will improve and like your facial structure will improve. And it's kind of crazy because you could tell when people are mouth breathers. Like they don't have a defined jaw and chin, and like the face kind of like gets like a little droopy because it's just like constantly like mouth breathing, and like those muscles I guess aren't contracting, so like your
Mm.
face actually gets droopy, so you could easily call somebody out, or not call somebody out, but like be like, hey, that person like is a mouth breather, because like it's like a slothy type vibe to your face. Dude, it's
Yeah,
really
you get.
crazy to think about.
I heard that too. You get the what is it? The mew line. Where the kids say mewing. It's like someone with a chin. It's a stupid like meme thing. Makes sense. All right, this is documenting my
No
a chin line. Now we'll go in a couple of months and we'll see what it looks like. But yeah, that was the other health update that I thought
doubt.
was interesting, which I know we touched from time to time. That's not marketing related, but all of this is about mental health. To be able to sit in front of a computer for 6 to 8 hours a day, smashing away at it. You gotta have your brain on straight. And that starts with health. So
All right, one last thing to add there on the health side, and I think there's like somewhat of a tie to marketing or just productivity. I'm in like the creatine rabbit hole now on social. Like I just get so much like creatine content because I guess I just
hmm
watch a bunch of videos now. And I actually got my mom's on creatine now, and I'm trying to get like pretty much anybody on creatine.
everybody,
I've
yeah.
heard higher doses of creatine is actually great for your brain. So most people are at like 5 grams a day. And More Plates, More Dates went on Rogan, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, I've been actually, doing like a 10 gram dose." And Rogan was like, "Dude, I get a little crazy. Like, I'll do a 10 or 20 gram every once in a while." So I've been doing 10 grams lately on the day-to-day basis, but I've actually seen a couple people post that they'll start their day with like a 10 or 20 gram dose of creatine on an empty stomach and like laser focused and dialed in. I haven't done that, but I'm going to give that a try next week, and I'll let you know on the pod how I feel afterwards.
Okay.
Is like waking up and taking creatine first thing in the morning. I haven't tried it, but I'm going to give it a try next week and maybe start with like a 10 gram dose.
So I typically take my creatine in the morning on an empty stomach, um, with a couple other powders that I take, which not necessarily too important, but they're health related, like a trimethylglycine and another kind of probiotic type thing. I'll take it in the morning when I first wake up. It's like the first thing I do, but it's only 5 that I do. And I've been doing that for months. Have I seen an acuteness to in the morning? Not really, but that's the time I just chose to take it because I typically work out then afterwards. But I have been taking creatine at night before I go to bed. I'll take another 5
So
milligram
what do
or
you get
five,
in a day? Like 10?
10. Yeah, 10 for about the last couple of weeks for it all. Haven't necessarily noticed a huge difference per se, but I would be curious to just switch it to one time a day in the morning, go to 10 and see how you feel. Because the recovery on that, dude, it's been a game changer for recovery. It's crazy. That I have felt. Mental acuity, I haven't been like really noticing it all that much. But hey, if it's there, why not? And like, yes, everybody should take creatine. It's harmless, pretty much. Like,
Oh, no doubt about it.
yeah, like if your stomach can tolerate it, they say I've never had an issue with that. It's fantastic, dude. Like simple things like my elbow, right, from like playing sports or whatever. Like just moving something kind of tweaks it a little bit. You kind of feels like tennis elbow, dude. That's pretty much gone. Or I know it's gonna repair itself to where it's not an issue. Like dude, my knees and joints as I get older, I'm like, creatine has been the like. There's some supplements that I take that I don't really feel an impact, but creatine has definitely been one of them. Like instantly, it's
It's
pretty
so
pretty rad.
funny because it felt like for a while there was just like such a bad stigma on it of like it's just not good for you. I want to say that NCAA might have even banned it for a period of time. Like I remember growing up and it was like if somebody was like, "Hey, I just started doing creatine," it was like a big deal. I was like, "Dude, like you're kind of doing steroids."
Yeah,
Like,
dude. I remember my brother back in the day, like he was on the football team and it was like all about doing the creatine. And it was like, I don't know, it was a different type of creatine or whatever. It was super chalky. You had to drink a lot of water. I mean, you still got to do it with normal creatine. But yeah, it was like, you're on creatine. You're like, oh no.
it's so funny. Like, where did that come from? Because like there was just such like an allure to it of it's a really big deal, and now it's like moms are taking creatine.
Yeah, no, I got to get everybody on. We're on the creatine bandwagon and we'll be there.
Yeah,
It's helpful, man. It's helpful. Little subtle changes like that make these work days that much easier.
no doubt about it.
Yeah, positive attitude coming on stuff. So, yeah.
What else? What else do you do? I don't know if you have any like marketing related stuff that you want to chat about. I don't really have much, but maybe we could do this being like a little bit more of like
Health
productivity
centric.
stuff that you can think about for your day. Because you got to think about you're probably at a desk and sitting down looking at a computer screen, as disgusting as it sounds, for like 10 to 12 hours a day. You know,
Yeah.
so with that, you and especially being a business owner and finances and revenue being reliant on your productivity essentially, what else comes to mind productivity wise that you feel like's been really helpful for you?
Great question. I mean, a couple things that come to mind. I do have a stand up desk. I tend to stand up in the afternoon. Just kind of changes the pace. So
Same
that's
here.
that's been nice. Just kind of looking at something a little bit differently. I mean, even like health benefits is one thing, but I don't know, man. When you're sitting staring at the same screen at the same time, like if you just lift your desk, it feels a little different. It's almost like you're working at someone else's station or something. So it kind of changes it up. And I think changing it up is an important thing. So I do take quite a bit of breaks. Like if I get done like doing a session of stuff, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go outside and, because I mean, obviously I work from home. I'll go walk the dog. Try to get out. But no, like when I walk my dog, I try not to have. If I do anything, I'm not listening to a podcast when I walk my dog. It's just I just want to be there in the moment and kind of absorb Mother Nature and sun and whatever that's out there. I think that's really important to do, to kind of disconnect from technology, because you're kind of like, oh, I want to go check my social media feeds or this or that. It's like, no, nothing at all. Maybe I'll take a phone call. But even when I take a phone call, I'm like, whoa, wow, what happened to that walk? That was really quick. So try to be like a non-stimulant walk.
Yep.
That'll definitely be part of it. Yeah, what about you?
I would say probably like the night before is definitely pretty key. Like I'll always the night before like write down. I like to have like a notebook and keep like a list of stuff that I'm working on and to like manually cross stuff out. So the night before, I'll usually have like 3 or 4 things that are like, all right, these are critical for the next day that I got to accomplish. And then prioritizing sleep and getting up early, those two. So it's kind of like all combined there. Like I will the night before write down a handful of things that are like, hey, these are critical for the next day. I then always get 8 hours of sleep the night before, and then I wake up early and I immediately go to work. So I work from home as well. So I usually get at least 8 hours of sleep, if not like a little bit more. And then I try and wake up early at like 5:30, and go right to my desk. And then it's like, call it 6 a.m. I'm like actively working to 9 a.m. Like those 3 hours, nobody's messaging me or calling me. I don't have any phone calls. And like that's when I could be as productive as possible. I used to go to the gym in the mornings, but I heard Alex Ramosi on a podcast say he wakes up and immediately goes to work because there's nothing else going on, and that's when like mentally he feels the sharpest. And like as you go throughout your day, mentally you're just going to be a little, I don't know, more tired, um, maybe a little bit less motivated than the start of the day. So that's been really helpful for me. I've been doing this for like the past 2 or 3 years now. It's just like getting the 8 hours of sleep and then immediately waking up and getting to work. And then it's like once you like get your day going with like calls and meetings and stuff, it's like if stuff pops up, like you had at least 3 to 4 hours in the morning of like deep focus work to get your shit done. And then it's like anything else I accomplish throughout the rest of the day is like a total bonus. As long as I can get like the first 3 to 4 hours of like me time, um, that's been really helpful. The last thing I will say, I know this is like a bit of a rant here, but I heard Lance Armstrong, he got interviewed by somebody and they were saying on a podcast, and I thought it was like such a cool way to look at their day. It was some entrepreneur was basically saying, from the time they wake up till noon, they're playing offense, meaning they're not checking socials, they're not checking email, they're not checking Slack, nothing's coming in. It's like from the time I wake up to noon, I'm doing what I need to get done in this day, pure offense. And then from there, I could start playing defense, meaning I could start responding to stuff, checking stuff, doing whatever that pops up. But that first half of my day, I'm playing offense. I'm trying to get better at doing that.
I really like that, the offense versus defense, because I think when I was more in a management position and I had people that I was training or mentoring, time management's a huge part of it, or distractions, where they would have like their email notification ticker always going off or every Slack alert coming out. And it's like, dude, you're getting distracted. Actually, I could probably do a better job now with that, even myself. It's like you got to focus and have those time periods that you're just locked in and you're doing work. What's interesting for me, I would say, yeah, the early rise, get things done. I was very much like that younger when I was more in a heavier production role. In different circumstances now with kids and timing of stuff, where I have actually switched to where my offensive time is in the afternoon. But it could also be, I mean,
Because
you're
you're a
on the
West
West.
Coast guy.
Yeah, I'm West Coast, right? You're East Coast. So
Yeah.
you get your shit done early because everything's going to wake up and then like it gets into a shitstorm. I wake up, it's already the shitstorm. So I'm already playing defense because I've got emails from you and my East Coast clients sitting in my inbox, and they're like
Yeah.
halfway through their day. So they need a response on things. Ricardo's a little different. I think he's more of a morning person, kind of getting stuff done. So he kind of pushes stuff out a little bit. So I guess the main point is have an offensive time and a defensive time. If it's mornings or afternoon, I
Yeah.
don't think it matters. But having that time of like, this is what I'm doing now, because that's what I tend to do. Defense in the morning, setting up my day, getting things going on, got my to-do list set up, do lunch, and then it's like, boom, get some caffeine or some nicotine, and like can crush the hours between 1 to 3:30, and then play a little defense in the afternoon, clean up the day, be offline by 4 or 5, and then I'm set up for the next day. I always know what I'm going to do the next day for work is concerned. If anything happens after work hours that pop up, all I simply do, I don't go to my to-do list or write it down. I send an email to myself like, hey, boom, it's sitting in my inbox for the next day because I play defense in the morning. I can prioritize it for the next day. So that's kind of another productivity item that I do is just emailing myself if something comes up, even personal stuff too, because that'll get logged in as
I
something to be
like
paying
that.
attention. So it's like, hey, I've done something, I acknowledge it. I know future Steve is going to thank past Steve because he just messaged him saying, hey, here you go. Um, it's like the same thing, like going back to health. When I know I'm going for a run the next day, 95% of the time, I set up everything that night because I have such limited time in the morning where it's like, oh man, that's only going to take you 15 minutes, 10 minutes to get your stuff together, getting what workout clothes, your shoes ready, your water in your pack, get everything going. It's only going to take you 10, 15 minutes. But if I do it the night before, it's like nothing. It's easy. But if I have to do it the day of, it's like, oh my God, I'm struggling. I'm out of the house like 10 minutes. And that 10 minutes could be the difference of I got a meeting coming up at the top of the hour before I get back from my run. I'm super rushed. So like pre-prepping your workout stuff, especially for like running or rucking the night before. So when you wake up, it's already there. You just throw it on and go is another item too. So it's kind of like you're pre-planning that. And it's always that kind of thinking your past actions will be thoughtful in the future. That I think that's such a huge thing that people don't realize. Like you can do a gift to yourself by just taking a little bit more effort in pre-planning it.
I know I've talked about Nick Bear a bunch on this podcast, founder of VPN. He says something in his YouTube videos that I love and I always think about. He says, future, um, future looking, backwards planning. That's like he always says that. Future looking, backwards planning. So he's really big on like the night before, like he'll go on a run in the morning. He'll have like his little scoop of like electrolytes already filled, his
Yep.
little go bar sitting out, his shoes, like whatever. Because you got to think like even the scenario that you described, if you don't do that, even like the morning when you're tired, like going to find stuff, like it could just like mess up your vibe. You know what I mean? Even little stuff like you could like stub your toe looking for something, you're tired, then like you're not like, whereas if everything was prepped, you wake up, go sit down, bang bang bang, done, I'm already out the door. Like that smoothness gives you like a good vibe going. So it's always like look ahead and just backwards plan to how you could figure that out. um the other thing that he says too is like, if it like matters to you, like you'll essentially like make a way to make it work. And if you don't do that the night before, who knows what's going to pop up. Whereas if you like plan that stuff out, like you're ready to roll, like you're ready to execute there.
Yeah, it's one less excuse. It's funny you said smooth. What's that saying? I think it's a special operations saying is that uh, slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Yeah, I like that.
Because it just makes sense. Like, hey, like in the morning, you're running, like you have it all prepped, so you actually are moving at a very productive rate to get out. If not, then it's like you're all combobulated trying to get out the door, and yeah, who knows what comes up, etc. It adds stress level. Yeah,
No
interesting.
doubt. You just got to think it's something so simple there, but like if you just prep the night before, it's like such a game changer for like the next day, and you have an idea. Because otherwise, if you kind of like just wake up and you're like, hey, what are my priorities? Hey, like when am I going to go to the gym? Hey, when I'm going to, it's like you don't really have like a lot of control. So it's almost like that planning gives you a bit more of control. Like sure, some stuff's going to pop up, but the very least, at
Yeah.
least like, hey, this is if I have a goal in mind for fitness or something, I know I carved out time to make that work, and then that also doesn't impact productivity at work.
Dude, I wonder if like okay, maybe you're not into the quite fitness game of things, and maybe it's as simple of kind of taking that discipline of like pre-planning for the next day, is like just putting your clothes out of what you're going to wear tomorrow.
Do that every night.
I wear the
Yeah,
same thing every day pretty much. Like I'm very structured in that way where it's like it's one less decision I have to make.
I pretty much
Um,
do as well. Yeah.
so it's like I got to pull the same clothes out every single time, so it's not an issue. But like, let's say you are someone that likes to have some diversity in what you wear, like just taking that step of doing that action beforehand. So it's like, boom, easy. I know what I'm wearing the next day. Because I guarantee, at least I do this. I wonder how many other people do this. But let's say you have a trip planned and you're going on an airplane. Do you lay out? I would seem like if you regularly don't lay out your clothes, people lay out their clothes that they're going to wear, especially if it's like an earlier flight. Like they have things prepped and ready for something major, like an airplane flight. I would think that's something I always do. Even like 2 days before, I'm like, okay, I got it all set up, good to go. One less thing off the checklist. I can have bandwidth for something else.
Oh, no doubt. It's like such an easy thing to implement there.
Yeah, it's just time management, but it's bandwidth in your mind. You only have so much that you can work with at any given moment. So
No doubt. I also think too, like running has been a huge help. I would say for productivity, as I don't know if that like sounds crazy or not, but I really have seen an improvement in mental acuity since improving my cardio. Not like I was ever in bad shape before, but I don't know, just didn't really. I would always go to the gym and lift, but like a consistent like mileage and running distant on the week to week basis, like I wasn't really consistent with it. I would, run here and there, be active in other ways, but like having a consistent kind of like long distance running routine on the week to week basis, I really feel like has helped my productivity as well.
it's interesting. I think it's probably got to do something of like the action of running, like clears the cache in your head. Your unused RAM, like it just kind of cleans it out. So like when you're done, you're like ready for fresh input. You feel light. You feel like you can really take on things, and it makes it easier. That's why I think they call it addiction because there's so many benefits to it. So it's like finding that balance where you're not going too far with it and you're
No
hurting
doubt.
your body. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's interesting here though. Cardio has improved your mental acuity. That's fantastic.
it's cool. It's been cool to see there. I'm trying to think of like anything else that comes to mind. I think like just like the actual basics though, of like planning the night before, getting good night's sleep, and
Sleep
then
for
figuring out
sure.
like when your like offense versus defensive time is during your day. Just like that, those simple things can be, such a game changer on your productivity there.
Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, one
Have
thing I do in the morning when I wake up, um, I do look at my phone right away on super bright light mode. And I do try to get sunlight in my eyes as fast as I can, but the light itself. But dude, I jump. I don't know if it's healthy or not, but I literally go jump into reading my phone, not social media, but I go straight to work and personal emails. I'm like right away, like it's gonna get my brain moving. It only takes maybe 5-10 minutes. Like I'll kind of see what's coming in, and I'm on West Coast, so there's gonna be some things plopped in there. There's been plenty of times you've seen me online on Slack where you send a message out saying, "Hey, this or that," and I'll just sit there. I'm in bed still, like, "Oh yeah, Trevor, cool, thanks for the update," and it's like 6 a.m. my time. I'm not
kind of
working.
what I figured what you were doing there.
Yeah, I just wake up quick, but it gets my brain going fast. Um, Not in an anxiety way. Like I'm ready to tackle the day, and then it's like, cool. I get a check in real quick with work and personal stuff, and then it's like, all right, start my morning routine, get the kids up, etc. But that right away just gets me thinking, where I'm not like sitting there dilly
Yeah,
dallying on social media because you can get trapped on that for sure. So it's like work related. And just get my mind moving. I've been starting to play a little bit more chess online too, so it's like my go-to is like read my quick emails and then like check my chess moves, the games that I got playing. Like, okay, that's got to get my brain thinking, and then it's like I'm maybe in bed for 15 minutes to even like 30 minutes before I actually get out of bed. I have to
yeah,
be up out of bed at a certain point, but I always find myself like, man, the days that I get out of bed a little bit earlier, I'm so much more productive. Of like
so much
the
more
next morning,
productive.
I'm like, hey, it's only like 10, 15 minutes, dude. And the moments I'm like 2 minutes over like the 6:30 time, I'm like, dude, I'm so behind all day. Why did I check my social media feed? So dumb. So dumb. So
Oh
just like
man,
realizing your time is so precious in certain spots and just like fully optimizing it, I think is it's just taking it serious. It's like it does have an impact. Every minute counts.
I'm I don't know. I would love to just like I've been thinking about some like social media breaks because I feel like it's just such a distraction, and I don't
Dude, I
know. It's
took
just
a
like not
month and
good.
a half off of Instagram. That was my main social media platform. Completely detoxed from it. And I loaded it back on. Well, let me talk about what I felt the difference. Did I feel anything? So I did feel a little bit missed out on really, I guess, a couple things. One, like if there was like any family or friends posts, that's cool to see, what people were up to. Because I feel like everybody's reliant on checking your social media, not telling you like, hey, I did this trip or this or that, or sharing photos of stuff, right? I definitely missed out on that a little bit, but there wasn't a lot that was there. So I'm like, okay, that's not that big of a deal. The other ones were like a couple of my hobbies that I'm into, like hunting and fishing. Like there's a couple people I follow. I'm like, I kind of miss that because I'm like, I'm not constantly being like shown that interest, like my bow hunting. Like, oh, dude, I haven't shot my bow in a while. Is that because I'm not being constantly reminded about it? So I definitely felt that a little bit, almost like a FOMO. I'm gonna forget that I like it kind of thing. And then the last item, before I'll let you jump in here, is and give your thoughts on it. It was there was well, I guess friends social. That was pretty much it. There was another item I forgot what it was, but oh yeah, like sports team stuff, like following my Sounders, and it's like, hey, it's game day here, this or that. It's like I kind of had to download the app so I know when the games are, etc. That's all I really missed was that. So I did reinstall, and I deleted a bunch of shit that I don't really think is a priority. And now when I'm back on Instagram, it's like it's like, it's not much. Okay, almost to a point where like I kind of don't need it anymore.
Yeah,
So it's a good break, dude.
I think I might do something similar there. I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. I just feel like Twitter, just like I waste so much time scrolling on that app, and it's not like
Twitter's that's a tough one. That's like a dumpster fire that I look
uh,
into pretty constantly.
it's just so
Um,
good because it's just like real time news stuff and like real time like what's happening and just like anything that's going on, and it's like it's so addicting, dude, and I hate it. And it's great, but
so
then it's like you can spend so much time on it where it's like I don't even know why I was just scrolling
is
there. I could have been
is
doing something
Twitter your
else.
main or X is your main social media? You're not on Instagram or Meta or anything like that.
I'll do Instagram a little bit because I have some like fitness people. I like to, follow like their stories if they're
But you don't feel
posting
like it's
stuff,
taking up
but
too much time.
no, not at all.
Okay.
Twitter for sure, but Instagram
Do you
like
have the
not at all.
Twitter app then? The X
Yeah,
app? So I
yeah,
would say delete the app.
and
Just
just like
delete just
desktop it.
just delete the app, and then you still got an option. It's not going to prevent you, but it's like another level of check. Like, do I really want to do this? You got to go to open your browser on your phone and check it, or do it on desktop.
Yeah,
The app is just too seamless.
yeah, it really is.
The first step, though, if you don't want to delete it, move it to the farthest page. Create like on your Apple, right?
Yep,
So like just your last page, put it there. So you have to do the walk of shame to get to it. 5 slides over. I
dude.
have to get to my Twitter.
I think I just have to. I think I just have to delete it.
You gotta go
I'm like
cold
such a
turkey.
scumbag. I did like time. You could do like settings on your phone of like Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Like these apps are like off or whatever. You could just click the. So I have that set
Yeah,
like
but
Monday
it's
through
like go
Friday
ahead and just
sometimes.
skip it. Yeah.
Skip it. Remind me in 15 minutes. I do that like daily, and I'm like, I'm just such a scumbag.
I did that for Instagram when I was like, hey, do like an hour allotted. Not that I wanted to be blocked by it, but just to realize I did an hour on Instagram. I was like, oh God, no, that's horrible. Like, why?
Isn't that so crazy to think how much time that you could just waste just scrolling? That's
Dude,
where I
I
have a
don't think we even
little.
scroll that much. There's so many people that scroll that much more, but we're like so worried about like an hour of their day. People do it like 4 hours a day. Doesn't make any, it's just, it's nuts. Like, just delete it. Just delete it. Go
That
cold turkey, man.
that's where I'm like,
Delete it now, Trevor.
I got to do that, but it's
Just
just
do
like
it now.
for I'm not gonna do it right now.
Do it right now. Ah.
I just feel like it's just I don't know, like probably net not a positive for society.
Yeah, there are positives. I just don't think in net it's there. I
It's
think
just
it's like
not.
30% good, 70% bad. So you're still running at a pretty good deficit there.
Yeah, like people build businesses, and you can make money or you can learn stuff and you can stay connected to people. But I would say probably like the vast majority, if you think about just like percentages of social media usage, probably 80-90% is just passive nonsense that you're just like entertained and you're just like doom scrolling.
Okay,
There's
well,
probably like
okay,
10 to
on your X feed
20%
though,
of
you have the
education
two,
or purchasing.
you have the two feeds on the X. You have for you, your followings, right, and then for you, which is kind of like the open web of suggestions.
I'm team for you. I don't ever do the following one.
You don't ever do the following one.
No, I only do like the for you algorithmic suggested type feed.
That's dangerous, bro. That's like dumpster fire times two. Because like
I
the people
know.
that I follow on the for you or on the following, it's like okay, I kind of know it's in a time sequence. Maybe I'm not going to see everything. If I know if there's a lot of news I consume from there, like breaking news stuff that I look through. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I know if I hit the for you tab, bro, oh, I'm seeing people getting like shot, like at robberies. I'm seeing fights. I'm seeing like highlight plays. I'm like, that's as bad
I'm
as
team
going
for
through.
you.
That's like going as bad as TikTok, just like flip through and through, letting the algorithm feed you.
Oh, dude, no doubt about it. No doubt
Oh,
about it.
that's rough, Trev. That's a bad. That's rough.
I'm not proud of it, but
No, it's. I'm just joking there, but it's definitely that degree of how do we reduce it? Okay, maybe only do the four, not the for you, just the only you're following, and just go there, and then maybe negate the for you for a little bit.
I think I might try and just do like a challenge like you did of
Just delete
of
it
at
cold
least
turkey.
committed to a couple, yeah, like a certain time period, like a month or something. Twitter's just like the only one I could do without any other. Twitter's just the only one because I do like to stay up to date with like
For the news.
investment stuff, news, business,
Yeah,
sports,
I
like
get
the
that,
real
dude. I
time
struggle
stuff.
with that. We're like, because like the daily newsletters that I get just don't. They're biased in so many ways. They're a little delayed on how you get the information.
No doubt.
It's been hard to find that kind of curated content where Twitter does a really good job on the news type stuff, and you'll get a lot of opinions from different places. So I get it. I get it. Maybe it's setting up a separate account that is more catered to news type stuff. That you're just like, hey, I'm more checking news rather than the other garbage that they sidetrack you with.
Yeah, but there's just no way of getting around it. Like
Is there though? If you just stay really disciplined and only consuming news stuff, you
that's true.
like let's just say the people you follow, you have like okay, from your other account, there's like maybe 15 news or people, maybe it's even 50 people, but it's all news related type topics. And when you go to for you, you would expect as long as you're not consuming, the random guy getting shot or ran over, or the car speeding down, you don't really it shouldn't be in the feed, you know. But I could be wrong.
Maybe I'll give that a try.
Like just have a separate profile that's like
Yeah,
news and investment only and not the garbage because
and
like
restart the algorithm.
and restart the algorithm. Yeah,
That would
for
be pretty
sure.
cool to have that as an option just to like, you can like clear your cookies or clear your cache on your browser. If you could do that within like your algorithm settings, like clear this, let me start
I
fresh.
think there is availability to do that. I know at least on Instagram. I'm not sure on X. There might be a way to do that. But I know so dude, what Instagram's super tricky though. I've been doing this for years. But on Instagram, when you're going through your feed, there'll be suggested stories that come up.
No doubt. Yeah, yeah.
You can disable that. You can go in and click on it, and there's a button that says, but here's the catch: it's snooze suggested post for 30 days. You can't default turn it off, but
So
you
they're
can
gonna get
snooze
you
it.
again.
And I catch it, and I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa! I didn't consume that. I don't know who this is. Why is this on my feed? So I got to go every 30 days and do that.
Interesting.
But the one thing they started to do, which you cannot opt out of, and they've been doing this for a while, is like the suggested reels that are not real time, but they're like preview thumbnails that come up.
Yeah.
They force it. So like they automatically reinforce the algorithm on you. It's kind of sick. And you don't even know it's happening. And you try to put these guardrails in to protect yourself, and it's like they don't care. They want you in the for you section. They want you consuming the suggested posts, and it's like
They need that
net,
time.
it's not good. And
Nah.
that's time that we could be being more productive ourselves. I mean, sure, there is definitely a point if you just want to fuck off for an hour and you got nothing to do, or a half hour. Sure, totally cool, not a big deal. But it's like when it's like just in your daily life, like every time you go to the bathroom or you get up from your desk for work and you're always constantly checking your feed, or you got a 5 minute downtime because your wife went into the store and you just can't sit there, dude. So
The
much
public
consumed time.
if you're in public and you're scrolling social, that's you really need to figure that out. I'm like a really big proponent of like not whipping your phone out in public. The one other thing that I want to get your thoughts on, and I do got to run here in a minute, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you probably do as well. But talking about productivity and time and everything, and just how valuable time is, just in general, because we're all like running out of time, and also to accomplish stuff throughout your day. I've been way more. I don't know what's a good way to describe this, but like upfront with people asking for time. I think this is one thing that you could fall into a trap, especially with like when you're younger and you got a bunch of energy and like you're entrepreneurial and you're trying to make some stuff happen and you want to make money and sign clients. Like you could definitely get to this point where like you like help everybody and like, yeah, sure, I'll get on this call. Yeah, I'll do this for your audit. Yeah, I'll do this, that, and the third. I think I'd be curious how you think about that, but I think maybe um, I don't know, like having priorities of like what you want to accomplish and like this is the time that I'm going to do that and I'm not going to allow somebody to book a meeting. Like there's so many times, Steve, where like people would be like, "Yeah, sure, like let's hop on a call to like troubleshoot that or let's do that in the third." You're like, "No, like let's do X, Y, and Z." And like you can get a vibe from somebody when they're like in a Slack or an email of like they're pushing towards a call, but you could like always like maneuver around hopping on a call to like assign responsibility of who's going to own what here and doing that in your own time or just being like straight up like no I actually just don't have the time to meet, like I just cannot make a call work for this. I feel like that's been really helpful for me because anybody in the agency space listening to this, your schedule can get just absurdly out of control with like internal stand-ups, client stand-ups, business pitches, and you could easily be on like 9 to 10 calls a day, if not more. So I don't know, being a little bit more protective of your calendar has been more top of mind for me, and I've been trying to get better about that. And people who, you know, might be like a little less serious and kind of like a little flakier, who like want to like get time on your calendar that you might have taken a call with in the past, getting a better filtration system for your calendar, I feel like has been really key for me. I can get way better at it, but that's something I'm really trying to focus on moving forward is like owning my time.
Yeah, so definitely some thoughts on that. I think the individuals or even sales opportunities that are flaky can consume a lot of time. It might feel like you're doing productive work, or you might be overly um, overly excited to accommodate, I guess, um, because maybe it's out of fear that you're not going to, like, you need the deal, you always need more deals kind of scenario, or you don't want someone to look negatively on you on that. That, and it feels good because you're doing productive work, but then you look back, you're like, dude, nothing came out of that all this
And
time.
it actually wasn't even productive when you think back about it.
100%. So I think that is one thing, is being mindful of that. Like, is this truly a priority that I do need to set time and meet with? It's hard to distinguish sometimes, but yes, that's good. As far as protecting your time, especially in the agency world, and a couple of the positions that I was at, positions I was at previously when I was doing no production work, dude, I could have a calendar, like you said, of like 10 meetings in a day, jumping on different meetings, etc. It's a little bit of my role because I wasn't doing production work as much, or if any. So it's kind of my role to do so. But where would I find the time to do sales, etc., in a day with 10 meetings stacked on top? So that's definitely like get it to an issue if you're still doing production work. So there are some strategies where saying no for sure, but also blocking time out. Like, hey, this is my offensive time, and I would do that. I would block offensive times out. I would block lunch out too. Like, hey, I got an hour here that maybe can be booked over, but it's like you're gonna double check with me. But it's that kind of block out time that I would use. Like, hey, here's 3
Same.
hours in the morning. I'm blocking out. I preferably would not want to have meetings, and people know that. If something critical comes up that is that high priority, sure, it can get shifted in here. But otherwise, not. But so I think, yeah, being very conscious of your time and saying no and being protective of it, it's important because, yeah, you could find yourself in that spot where, like, I just did 10 meetings and I don't feel like I did anything. Or talked
And
about
I
doing a
think
lot of
too,
things, but not doing it.
and I think too, as you get more experience and you get older and you take on more meetings and you do more production work, and like you'll definitely get a better understanding of what's actually serious and what's not serious. Like you'll get a
Yes.
better feel for like, okay, this is probably just going to be like a buddy buddy type call, and like this actually isn't going to go anywhere. So like maybe I'm not going to take this, where in the past you would have been hyped just to talk to like a like prospective client or somebody who like might have some work. You get a better feel for that, and I think like being confident in pushing back and saying no, or suggesting, hey, maybe we can handle this in a different way, not getting on a call. I think the more you could do that, the better, and the more productive you actually will be. Um, there's no point of just jumping on a call for the sake of jumping on a call. And I think this remote environment has pushed everybody to be like, hey, let's just schedule a call. And it's like we're just in like this weird world of like 30-minute chunks, and like we just do calls, and that's what we do in remote work. That might have been different in person, you know? And I don't know. That's just been
That's a
top of mind for
really
me.
interesting thing because think about it, the remote line of things of like, hey, let's just do a meeting, let's do a meeting. Let's just pretend we're all still working in the office and a situation pops up that this individual thinks they need to have a meeting. They have to physically get up from their desk or their workstation and walk over to the other individual that is heads down doing work. Like you're going to interrupt them,
Such a
right?
different experience there. You're probably not. You're
And
probably
I
going to try and
remember like some
troubleshoot.
people would interrupt me or like interrupt Ricardo and be like, dude, honestly, I hear you, but I have to get this done now, like right
Yeah.
now. So that was even kind of protecting your time in person. But it was a lot easier to kind of get that cue of like, is this person busy or not? Dude, I even, when COVID happened, and I'll try to wrap this up because I know you got to go, but we tried a certain app when COVID happened where it was like a virtual office. And you have all these little avatars, little smiley face. It
That
was like a
sounds
virtual
awful.
office. And it's like, hey, I'm in my office right now. You need to knock your door if you want to come in and talk to me. And then the audio would turn on. So it's kind of like this weird virtual environment. But it had some concepts of like, hey, trying to have some of those boundaries of like, am I just gonna IM somebody and send message somebody right away, or I need to take a precaution of like this one's purse is working, you know? So that is very difficult to do now. That app obviously didn't solve it, but this remote work world, that is very tough because yeah, it's like, hey, let's just have a call. Let's just have a call. It's like, hold on a second, I'm working. I got to do things, you know. So I get that struggle is weird or hard, and it's just we haven't figured that out yet. But being protective of your time, it's important.
It's a whole different like dynamic is like this remote world, and just like relying on like 30-minute meetings and hour meetings, and schedule a call. I feel like it was probably not as prominent as it used to be because everybody's in this remote environment, but I've really been trying to get better at that. And I don't know, I think it's been really helpful for my schedule that I figured it's like worth sharing. Do not be afraid to like push back, to be like, no, I don't have time, I have other priorities. Or you can kind of get a little like cagey with like your response to like avoid the question of getting on a call, to be like, no, I actually like took care of it and I action, like you can review this now, or something. Like there's creative ways you can go about it without just like saying no. But I do think that's something just to consider, especially if like you're younger. Yeah, like, you don't have to feel like you have to get on every call, because I definitely have been in that position.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. That's a great way, I think, to end it.
Cool. I really like this one. I think this was like a cool like productivity take, and I don't know. I've never really talked to anybody in the on that topic of like now being fully remote and like this call thing, but I don't know. It's been nagging me a little bit as of late, because once you get on a bunch of accounts and you got a lot going on, shit can get like completely out of control, and I don't know. Taking a little bit more control of your calendar is a great feeling, and it helps your productivity big time.
Yeah, being able to control something that you can control, that's important. If you can't control it, don't worry about it.
That's a good way to end it. So future looking, backwards planning is what it's all about. I think That might be the title of this episode is future planning or future looking backwards planning.
Love it. Thanks,
Cool.
everyone.
Thanks, y'all.